Okay, so since I won't be at school this week, I'm going to record your lesson for you and upload it to Canvas. This week we are talking about reproduction, which is the act of passing on DNA to your offspring. Now, generally speaking, there are two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual, and we're going to talk about both today. So first, I'm going to start with asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction only involves one parent. It requires mitosis only. Because it only involves one parent, it actually happens very quickly. This is the kind that bacteria tend to do. And so because of this, it actually can happen in as few as a couple of minutes. As we said, simpler organisms tend to do this, such as bacteria, some protists, some jellyfish, other things. When you have asexual reproduction, the offspring that are produced are identical to each other and the parent. So there is no genetic variation. It's just the offspring and the parent. In other words, one cell undergoes DNA replication and then splits into two cells that have equal types of DNA and equal amounts of DNA. So that's that mitosis process we talked about. And there are actually several types of asexual reproduction that you'll explore this week: vegetative propagation, binary fission, and etc. So you'll have a few more that you'll learn about. Okay? So that's asexual reproduction. On the other hand, sexual reproduction actually involves two parents. Okay, sometimes, usually it's most commonly male and female, but not always. Sometimes it can be two different types, but then there's also going to be the involvement of sexual organs as well. In addition to this, it actually requires meiosis and mitosis. So this was the process that we learned about last week, meiosis. Meiosis is the formation of sexual gametes. That's what this process is used for. Organisms that undergo sexual reproduction have to do both. Okay. Now this process actually takes a little bit longer because you need to factor in time for meiosis to happen. And then you need to factor in time for sexual fertilization to happen. You need to factor in time for the organism or the fetus to grow, and then also to mature to sexual maturity as well. Because of all of these things, it tends to happen in more complex organisms such as humans, mammals, plants are usually capable of sexual reproduction as well. Most of the species that we have on this planet, the majority of them actually tend to do sexual reproduction, and it's because sexual reproduction has one really extreme benefit to it, and it's that it offers genetic variation. The offspring are not identical to the parents. In fact, the offspring are a combination of the parents' genes. The parents themselves can make one of 64 billion possible combinations of children. As I mentioned in class, don't worry, humans have only gotten close to 75. We're nowhere near 64 billion. And as we said before, this requires both mitosis and meiosis. And with meiosis, just a refresher from last week, that genetic variation kicks in as one source of this 64 possible combinations by creating 4 genetically identical cells due to crossing over and independent assortment that happens in meiosis. So that's your lesson. Happy learning this week, guys.